In our modern society, many are beginning to question the nature of the information we receive and the forces that shape our collective consciousness. Some argue that behind the scenes, a slow and systematic process of mass hypnosis is at work, one that breaks down our individual minds through trauma and fear only to rebuild them with a predetermined set of beliefs. In this video, we will explore the theory that our society is being groomed for mind control, much like a frog slowly boiling in a pot, and how this alleged process is used to manipulate political opinion and secure government power. Imagine the mind as a fortress built to protect personal truth and individuality. The theory goes that step by step this fortress is methodically breached using traumatic events. Catastrophes, both natural and man-made, as well as orchestrated political crises, serve as the perfect catalyst. These events are not random misfortunes, but, as some believe, carefully engineered to overload our psychological defenses. Once the mind is overwhelmed with fear, grief, or confusion, it becomes susceptible to a kind of psychological reprogramming. The trauma breaks down the individual's critical faculties, dissolving old beliefs, and then, like a sculptor with a block of marble, the powers behind this process begin to reshape what we think, feel, and ultimately believe. The process is not sudden or overt. It is a gradual, slow boil that leaves us largely unaware of the changes taking place. Much like the proverbial frog in a pot of slowly warming water, the general population adapts to incremental shifts in societal norms and government policies without realizing that these changes are altering their very perception of reality. This metaphor highlights how small, seemingly innocuous steps, such as minor restrictions or subtle shifts in rhetoric, can eventually lead to a significant transformation of public thought, making resistance increasingly difficult once the process is well underway. A cornerstone of this theory is that fear is the primary tool used to condition the public. By creating an environment where danger seems omnipresent, governing bodies or shadowy elites instill a deep-seated anxiety that leaves citizens feeling vulnerable and in need of protection. In response, the public is encouraged or even coerced into seeking safety in the very institutions that promise security. This dependency on government assistance and authority is seen as a deliberate tactic. By fostering fear, the controllers ensure that people are more willing to surrender their autonomy in exchange for the illusion of safety. This cycle of fear and dependency is said to keep the population in a constant state of submission, making independent thought not only difficult but also psychologically painful. One of the most cited frameworks in this narrative is the problem-reaction-solution paradigm. The process unfolds in three distinct phases. Creation of a problem. A crisis is either allowed to occur or is subtly manufactured. This crisis, whether it be an economic downturn, a terror attack, or a public health emergency, is designed to shake the very foundations of societal stability. Even when confronted with evidence that challenges the official narrative, many people find it difficult to accept the truth. This is often explained by two psychological phenomena: cognitive dissonance and Stockholm syndrome. Cognitive dissonance is the mental discomfort experienced when one holds two conflicting beliefs simultaneously. When faced with information that contradicts long-held beliefs, especially those that have been reinforced by repeated trauma, the mind struggles to reconcile the differences. This discomfort can lead individuals to reject new evidence outright or rationalize it in a way that preserves the existing belief system. Stockholm Syndrome describes a condition where individuals begin to identify with their captors or abusers, developing a psychological alliance with those who control their lives. In the context of mass hypnosis, even if the truth of manipulation is revealed, many may find themselves inexplicably loyal to the very structures that have subjugated them, further entrenching the cycle of control. These psychological defenses are so deeply ingrained that even direct exposure to contradictory evidence can trigger a backlash, reinforcing the status quo and keeping the reprogramming intact. Some proponents of this theory take the argument even further, drawing parallels between modern mass hypnosis techniques and ancient forms of black magic. They argue that the methods used to break down and rebuild the mind are reminiscent of ritualistic practices found in esoteric traditions, practices that in their most extreme forms have involved satanic rituals and abuse. According to this view, society has been subjected to a kind of ritual abuse on a massive scale where the subconscious mind is the battleground for dark occult forces. This perspective posits that these techniques are not merely psychological tactics but are imbued with a spiritual or supernatural power, a kind of modern-day black magic that has been used to enslave humanity. A key aspect of this narrative is the belief that the term conspiracy theory itself was deliberately crafted to discredit those who question the official narrative. According to this line of thought, powerful organizations, often referred to as the three-letter groups such as the CIA, FBI, or NSA, engineered this label to marginalize alternative viewpoints and stifle dissent. By branding unconventional ideas as mere theories, the public is led to dismiss them without proper consideration. This tactic, critics argue, is a systematic attempt to control the flow of information and maintain a monopoly on what is accepted as truth. One of the most compelling calls to action in this theory is the appeal to trust one's intuition in tandem with logical reasoning. While our rational minds are adept at processing overt data and analyzing surface-level information, it is our intuition that can perceive subtler cues embedded deep within the subconscious. Proponents argue that the programming of mass hypnosis operates below the level of conscious awareness, making it invisible to traditional forms of scrutiny. Therefore, cultivating an awareness of both our logical and intuitive faculties is essential for discerning hidden patterns and questioning the established narrative. Critical thinking becomes our most potent weapon in this struggle for mental sovereignty. It requires us to question not only the information presented to us, but also the processes and institutions behind it. By engaging in independent research and cross-referencing diverse sources, we can begin to peel back the layers of manipulation that obscure the true nature of our reality. If the theory of mass hypnosis and deliberate mind control holds any truth, then what we are witnessing is nothing short of a crime against humanity. The deliberate manipulation of entire populations, breaking down individual minds with trauma, rebuilding them to serve a hidden agenda, and ensuring that even the revelation of the truth is met with resistance through cognitive dissonance and psychological loyalty, is a violation of the very essence of human freedom. In such a scenario, the forces at work are not simply political or social. They are deeply, darkly ritualistic. They represent a convergence of psychological warfare and occult practices where power is maintained not through overt oppression alone, but through the subtle, insidious reprogramming of our beliefs and behaviors. This is the ultimate betrayal, where the very tools meant to liberate us, knowledge, truth, and critical inquiry, are twisted into instruments of control. Recognizing these potential mechanisms of control is the first step toward reclaiming our autonomy. It begins with an unwavering commitment to critical thinking and the courage to question everything, even the narratives we have long accepted as truth. We must not allow ourselves to be lulled into complacency by incremental changes that, over time, erode our ability to think independently. To break free from these alleged chains, we must cultivate awareness, educate ourselves about the historical and contemporary examples of psychological manipulation and social engineering, look beyond surface-level explanations and seek out alternative sources of information, engage in critical inquiry, question official narratives, and demand transparency from those in power. Understand that cognitive dissonance is a natural response to conflicting information, but do not let it become an excuse to dismiss uncomfortable truths. Trust your intuition. Learn to recognize the subtle signals that indicate deeper programming at work. Your intuition, when combined with logical analysis, can help you detect inconsistencies and hidden patterns that may not be immediately obvious. Embrace independent research. In an age where information is controlled and narratives are manufactured, doing your own research is more crucial than ever. Do not accept information at face value. Dig deeper, compare sources, and form your own informed opinions. The theory that mass hypnosis is being used as a tool for mind control paints a stark picture of our current reality, one in which our thoughts, beliefs, and ultimately our freedoms are being manipulated from behind the scenes. Whether or not one subscribes fully to this perspective, the underlying message is clear. We must remain vigilant. The world we live in is complex and often deceptive, and it is only through the integration of intuition and rigorous, independent thought that we can hope to uncover the truth hidden beneath layers of propaganda and fear. In our struggle for mental sovereignty, every question asked, every assumption challenged, and every piece of evidence carefully examined brings us one step closer to breaking free from the chains of manipulation. By shining a light on these alleged mechanisms of control, we not only defend our own autonomy, but also contribute to a broader awakening, a collective realization that the narratives fed to us may not be the whole story, and that the truth, however obscured, is always worth seeking. Let this video serve as both a cautionary tale and a call to action. To critically assess the information we encounter, to trust in our own capacity for insight, and to never allow ourselves to be subdued by forces that would see us permanently hypnotized by fear and control.